Right now, the entire United States is waiting, watching, and trying to figure out what is going on. Millions of people are deeply concerned about their future moving forward, especially federal workers. Now, I want to explain what's going on, how the Trump administration just did something yesterday that was unprecedented. We've never seen before, and this is actually something that billionaire Elon Musk is behind. I want to explain what's going on, how this could impact you very soon, and what this means to the entire United States. So I'll explain all this in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So here's the first thing you need to know. We are going to discuss what Donald Trump just did yesterday. However, this is going to impact every single person here in the United States, not just federal workers. And I bring this up because when I talked about this just yesterday, many people were saying, well, that's not going to impact me. Here's what you need to understand. The Trump administration is offering deferred resignation to government workers who do not want to come back and work in the office starting on February 6th. Okay, what does this mean? Well, here's what you need to know. Even if you work for another company, not the federal government, you will still be impacted because of what's going on. Number one, because this is going to change all the work from home that people are doing. Okay, there will be a return to office. They'll have to return to office in masses here very soon. That's number one. Number two, something that President Trump said, and I want to play this clip for you. Okay, it's about a minute long. I want to play it for you because what he says towards the end of this is extremely important, because I know several people that did exactly this, and you may be one of them. Listen to this.
Because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them.
Listen to what he says in just a second.
We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive. And it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home.
So right there, okay, that's not the end of it. I'm going to keep playing this. But he says it's unfair to the millions of people that are not working from home, working from job sites. But not only that, he wants to ensure that the federal government is more efficient. By downsizing, we will become more efficient. However, I want to point this out because I've made it clear before. I don't think a lot of people realize this. But as the federal government becomes more efficient, there will be a lot of pain. Think about Twitter. Back when Elon Musk purchased Twitter and he downsized by like 80%. Now, Twitter is now called X, but it is more efficient today than it was before. The problem is there was a lot of pain along the way. Let's keep listening to this, though.
As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful.
Right there. What he just said, we may ask for them to prove that they did not have another job while working for the federal government. We know that more than 2 million people were offered this deferred resignation. According to reports, there's about 3 million federal employees, 2 million of which got this deferred resignation. This is essentially what it was. Okay, I want to show you this really quick. Okay, this is essentially what it is. Now you can pause the video, you can read it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can kind of see right here. Okay, and then at the very end, down here, it says, whichever path you choose, we thank you for your service to the United States of America. Upon review, if you want to resign and take paid leave for 33 weeks and receive benefits, then you can type the word resign and hit send. The last day to accept this would be on February 6th. Now, here's why some are highly considering accepting this offer. And this is what I want you to keep in mind. If we downsize by 80%, okay, that would be a massive number. I don't think that's happening. According to reports, they say they're expecting, the OMB believes 10% are going to take this paid leave, okay? And they're going to get it until September 30th. Well, there are a lot of people saying, don't do this. Look at this right here. It says it's not a buyout. Attorneys and unions urge federal workers not to resign. They say this is not what you want. Now, I want to show you this as well. This says Musk's team pushed to gut federal workforce bypass key Trump officials. It says billionaire Elon Musk has worked behind the scenes on an initiative aimed at depleting the civil service, prompting questions about its legality. So Elon Musk was the one that was behind this. Now, I want to show you this right here. This is an article from the Washington Post from today. It says what federal workers should know about Trump administration's deferred resignation offer. I want to show you a few things here because some of this is very important. First off, what is the offer? It says federal workers who accept the deferred resignation offer will remain employed, retain all pay and benefits, and be exempt from in-person work requirements until the final resignation date on September 30th. This brought up a lot of questions saying that, okay, so I'm still employed, I get all my pay, all my benefits, I don't have to come in to work in person, but I will have to resign by September 30th, or on September 30th. Well, here's what you need to know. So yes, all that stuff matters, but if you are not needed for a transition to another employee, if you do not need to teach somebody what your day-to-day duties are, you could pretty much be let go today or by February 6th, and you would never have to come into the office. You'd still get paid, you'd still get your benefits, but the agency that you work for would then redistribute your duties to other people. So essentially, you would not be needed at that point. But yes, you still get paid. Now, here's why this is such a big deal. Okay? It says what happens to those that don't accept it? And here's the concern. Some people have brought up, what if every single person that works for the federal government decided to take this? 2 million people. Technically there's 3 million people, but 2 million people decide to accept this. That would be a huge downsizing, and we would see pain. The Social Security Administration, that they would suffer. We'd see the IRS would suffer. We'd see many different agencies, okay, parks, right, schools, right, everyone would suffer. There'd be pain, but it would be temporary. Now, how long is temporary? It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 4 years, we don't know. That's something that's kind of up in the air. But look at this. It says the offer expires on February 6th. It says the announcement states that the majority of federal agencies will be downsized as part of the Trump administration's overhauls, likely through furloughs and reclassifying employees to at-will status, which would make them easier to fire. It says for those that do not take the offer, we cannot give you full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated, you will be treated with dignity and will be afforded the protections in place for such positions. Okay. Now I want to read something else to you though. This one right here. Why is the Trump administration doing this? It says Trump pledged on the campaign trail to shrink the civil service, which he and his allies have cast as a liberal deep state that disrupted his plans during his first term. Musk previously vowed to slash the federal workforce as part of a sweeping plan to eliminate agencies and shrink the federal budget. That's exactly right. Wants to shrink the federal budget. Now, here's what you need to understand. This is going to happen. We are going to see federal employees are going to be let go. If it doesn't happen now, by the time we get to the next government funding bill, which is going to, well, every year by September 30th, October 1st, that's a new year. That's a new fiscal year. So we're going to have a new federal budget by September 30th. Guess what? That's likely going to mean downsizing across the board. This will mean pain for certain agencies. This will mean the American people are going to feel the pain as well. This means that we could eventually lower taxes, but we have to bring down the costs first. But here's what you need to know. We are having some issues, or the Trump administration is having issues regarding the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. How do we pay for that? Well, this is one way that it could be paid for, but here's the issue. Okay? And I want to show you this. This right here. It says, speaking on the Senate floor Tuesday night, Senator Tim Kaine, he's a Democrat out of Virginia, he argued that Trump's offer to federal employees overstepped his authority. Goes on to say, the president has no authority to make that offer. There's no budget line item to pay people who are not showing up to work. If you accept that offer and resign, he'll stiff you. What I took away from that was this. There's no budget line item to pay people who are not showing up for work. So essentially, Senator Kaine said, you don't show up for work, we should pay you, right? Well, 6% of federal employees show up in the office. That means the other 94% never show up. So does that mean 94% of people should not be paid? Interesting. All I know right now is that we are going to go through a massive downsizing. What this means for all of us, for 300 plus million Americans, I don't know. All I can tell you right now, our changes are coming, and this could be painful for everybody. But we'll see what happens moving forward. That is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.